On the mound for the Dodgers would be Big John Garland at 6'6", 215 pounds. John will be 30 years old on the 27th of September. A local boy born in Valencia, lives in Granada Hills, and went to Kennedy High School in Granada Hills. And of course, the Valley has produced some pretty well-known pitchers like Jack McDowell, Brett Saberhagen, and John Garland. Garland had a couple of big years back-to-back with the Chicago White Sox in 05 and 06. Each year he won 18 games, so those were his two standout seasons. So now facing a Pirate ball club that is struggling to say the least, a team with 12 rookies not going anywhere, 27 and a half games back in St. Louis, and a line drive base hit by Andrew McCutchen on the very first pitch. So McCutchen, young center fielder, a rope into left field. Here are the Dodgers. It's Ramirez, Kemp, and Ethier, Blake, Furcall, Hudson, and Loney, and the battery of Martin handling John Garland. So for the Dodgers, they are stung immediately on that line drive single by Andrew McCutchen. And Andy LaRoche checking in, former Dodger property and right-hand hitter, anchored at third base. Beautiful evening, 68 degrees. So Garland has to worry about Andrew McCutchen and immediately throws over there. Andrew, not only a good hitter, we didn't have time to tell you he was hitting .270 with 11 home runs and 47 runs batted in. But we do have time to tell you that he has stolen 16 out of 20. Out of a stretch goes Garland, looks over his left shoulder and works LaRoche low. 1 ball and no strikes to Andy. Last 5 starts, LaRoche has hit 2 home runs, hitting just .228 against right-hand pitching. So Garland set at the belt, trying to win his 10th, and that would be a milestone for him. The pitch of LaRoche is taken for a strike, and the count 1-1. If Garland wins tonight, he'll join a short list of active pitchers who have posted at least 10 wins in 8 straight seasons. Javier Vazquez, Mark Burley, CC Sabathia, Derek Lowe, with Vazquez having done it 10 times, Burley and Sabathia 9, and Derek Lowe 8. So Garland set, keeping an eye on again a throw to first and McCutchen diving back to the bag. Game 1 of the series. Dodgers have won the season series against the Pittsburgh Pirates for 8 straight years. They've won 5 of the last 7 games, 7 of the last 9 meetings against them. So they're accustomed to beating the Bucks, and Pittsburgh trying to return the favor, especially this late in the year where it could really hurt. The manager, the new skipper of the Bucks, a break-in year, his 2nd year as Pirate manager, John Russell, who took over the hot seat from Jim Tracy, who's now the head of the Colorado Rockies. 1-1 pitch on the way, swung on and missed. 1-2 the count to Andy LaRoche. Andy was a 39th round pick by the Dodgers 6 years ago out of Grayson County Community College in Texas. Grew up in Fort Scott, Kansas, and still lives there. So Andy waiting at the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Throw to first again, so they're really watching McCutchen. And of course, that's the one thing that makes a team like Pittsburgh so very, very serious. They have nothing to lose. They're not going anywhere except running out the schedule. They have 12 rookies, all eager to impress. And they don't have to have a book. Russell can let them play. 1-2 the count to LaRoche. Garland set, ready, delivers, and the pitch is low, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Game 1 of the 3-game series. Tomorrow night, Zach Duke will go up against Randy Wolf. Wednesday afternoon, it will be Kevin Hart and Hiroki Kuroda. Beautiful evening. Temperature right now 68 degrees as Chad Billingsley and Randy Wolf sit shoulder to shoulder, make their own notes about Wolf's upcoming game. 2-2 the count. LaRoche hitting .246, 9 home runs, 52 runs batted in. Swings, pops it foul off to the right upstairs. Fastball alley as Garland hits 90 on the gun. Andy LaRoche battling John Garland certainly comes from a baseball family. His father, Dave LaRoche, was a 2-time All-Star reliever, and his brother Adam played for the Bucks. Andy signed by the Dodgers and now trying to establish himself in Pittsburgh. 2-2 the count with Garrett Jones on deck, left-hand hitter. Garland at the belt, ready, delivers, and the pitch is low, bobbled a little bit by Martin, but holding on is McCutchen. So 3-2 the count. Be a little pressure now on Garland and Martin as McCutchen eyeballs John's move out there. Garrett Jones, left-hand hitter, waiting on deck. We're just starting. McCutchen hit the very first pitch for a base hit to left field. LaRoche gets deep in the count, goes all the way. And we will see now what Russell does as far as McCutchen. Andrew takes his lead. He goes. The pitch at the plate is low. Ball 4. So a base hit and a walk. And John Garland off to a wobbly start. And Garrett Jones coming up. Garrett Jones, born in Harvey, Illinois, lives in Tinley Park, Illinois, and was originally drafted by the Braves. Big fella, he is 6'3", 235 pounds, and as a rookie, one of 12, he's been a big man. He's hitting .304 with 19 home runs and 39 runs batted in. For Garrett Jones, his 19 home runs in 64 games. He has his name up there with some pretty big hitters in Pirate history. Johnny Rizzo, Ralph Kiner, and Jason Bay. So the left-hand hitter waiting. Garland checks the runners, now comes to his hitter, pulled just foul outside of first and down the line, 0-1. John Garland facing a young hitter, Garrett Jones, who got his name in print 7 years ago. He was playing for the Quad City River Bandits, and he had 4 home runs in a game. He was the first Midwest League player to do that in 24 years. So immediately the word spread. Hey, the Bucks have a hitter. Garrett Jones, 28 years old, and the left-hand hitter waiting. Garland out of his stretch. Strike one, pitch on the hands, a little ground ball to Hudson. He looks, and his only play is at first. So on the slow roller, Jones grounds out, and the runners move up to second and third. Hudson almost went after Andy LaRoche and then decided, better I get the out. And Ryan Dumit, the catcher, coming up. Another left-hand hitter, batting .239 with 9 home runs, 29 runs batted in. No score. Bucks threatening here. Second and third, 1 out, first inning. Out of his stretch goes Garland, and the pitch of the Pirate catcher is off the plate. Ball 1, 1-0. Hot hitter on deck. That would be a veteran of sorts, Lastings Millage, who has hit safely in 9 of his last 11. So Dumit waiting, second and third, 1 away, first inning, no score. Garland, hands together at the belt, looks at the runners. Now the 1-0 pitch, and that's in the dirt. Nice save by Russell Martin, and it's a 2-ball, no strike count. John Garland, by the way, has 5 wild pitches, so he has to be careful with a runner at third. John went from the White Sox to the Cubs, then from the Cubs to the Angels, from the Angels to the Diamondbacks, and from the Diamondbacks to the Dodgers. Basically fastball, curve, change, and slider. Garland set again. Now the 2-0 pitch on the way, and that's way inside and low. Ball 3. 3-0 the count. So Garland struggling here at the outset. Of course, he's a veteran, has been through the mill, and the mill translates to 2 years ago. He allowed 11 earned runs in 3 1/3 innings against the Minnesota Twins. and he also gave up 8 earned runs in an inning and a third against the Yankees. And the pitch is way outside, so Dumet walks, and the bases are loaded with 1 out. So Garland struggling here at the outset, and Lastings Millage coming up. Lastings Millage has hit safely in 9 of his last 11, hitting .287 with 2 home runs, 15 runs batted in. He had 2 older brothers, and his parents decided that the 3rd child would be the last. And with a little creative license, Lastings received his somewhat elite name. His dad, a ball player, along with his brothers, and Millage takes low, ball 1-0. His father is a retired Florida highway patrolman. Millage, born in Bradenton, lives in Palmetto. Only 24 years old. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way. Out of a stretch is Garland with the bases loaded, 1 out. And Millage probably pulls one foul down the left field line out of play, deep in the lower deck, but foul all the way by plenty. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Millage is an even 6-footer, checks in at 205 pounds. He has bounced around a lot in 6 years. He was originally a 1st-round pick by the New York Mets. So he has McCutchen, LaRoche, and Dumet out there with 1 out. No slams in Millage's brief major league career. 1-1 pitch on the way. Lastings swings and pops it up. It'll be Orlando Hudson waiting. The infield fly rule is called, and we have 2 down in the 1st inning. So for John Russell, well, you're not 27.5 games back to St. Louis by getting a lot of clutch hits. That's for sure. And Millage pops it up. So now with 2 out and the bases loaded, Brandon Moss will be coming up. So Millage comes up empty at a big opportunity. And now Moss checks in. He's a Georgia boy, born and raised in Monroe, Georgia, and was originally picked by the Boston Red Sox. 26 years old. In fact, he'll be 26 on Wednesday. 6-footer, 205-pounder. Bases loaded, 2 out. Garland checks, ready and deals. Fastball for a strike. And the count 0-1. For Moss, a couple of years ago, he committed to the University of Georgia, but the Red Sox convinced him, signed him, and he started his pro career. 0-1 the count to Brandon Moss. Out of a stretch is Garland, off-speed pitch fouled away, and the count 0-2. So John Garland, who, as we mentioned, has been through the mill. He's been burned on 11 earned runs and 8 earned runs. But besides those 2 nightmares, if you took those 2 games away that year, his earned run average would have been 3.4. John straight up on the mound, now bends as he begins his maneuvers to the plate. And the strike 2 pitch on the way, grounded foul outside of first down the line. Perry Hill coaching at first for Pittsburgh. And over at third, Tony Beasley. Tony Beasley has a fine singing voice. In fact, last year, the 30th of July, Tony Beasley sang the national anthem. It was a game that featured the Pirates and the Rockies, and anyone who's been around Tony and heard him sing, it's no surprise. He can sing. Not much to sing about these days in Pittsburgh. 0-2 the count now to Brandon Moss with 2 out and the bases loaded. Garland set, ready, and deals very high. That brought Russell Martin out of a crouch. 1-2 the count. One ball and 2 strikes the count. Garland gave up a single and 2 walks. However, he got Millage to pop up with the bases loaded. And now the 1-2 pitch on the way to Moss, and that's in the dirt. Blocked by Martin. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So if one thing, Garland is laboring a little bit. He's made 21 pitches here in the 1st inning. So standing room only out there. Last time the Pirates had a really true winning ball club was 1992. That's when they won the National League East but lost the championship series to Atlanta. 2-2 pitch on the way, swung on and missed. And so it goes for a young Pirate club as John Garland works his way out of a jam. Bases loaded, one out, they still come up empty as Millage popped up, more strikes out, and the Bucks fail to score. Loading the bases with one out. John Garland had to work hard. He made 23 pitches. Now here's the Dodger lineup. Rafael Furcal, followed by Matt Kemp and Andre Ethier. Manny Ramirez hits cleanup, and then James Loney. Casey Blake, Russell Martin, Orlando Hudson back at second base, and John Garland on the mound. On the mound for the Pirates, Daniel McCutchen out of McKinney, Texas. He was originally drafted by the Yankees 3 years ago. He went to school at the University of Oklahoma. In fact, he was Oklahoma Big All-City team as a senior, selected by the Cardinals, also by the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, did not sign either time. Finally, Daniel inked with the Yankees. Didn't really work. He never made it to New York, but he did make it to Pittsburgh, and here he is. He is quite an athlete. He is 6'2" and 195. Earlier, when he was at Indianapolis, to show you what kind of an athlete he was, and remember, he's 6'2". Rafael Furcal up there and takes a strike. A teammate held a baseball cap high in the air. It was 7 feet off the ground, and he was able to reach up and kick the hat. Strike one pitch is a ground ball foul outside of first down the line, and the count 0-2. So, boy, you talk about a high stepper, that would be Daniel McCutchen. And one other thing we understand from his roommate, that not only is it Tony Beasley who sings well, they say young Dan can also sing exceptionally well. And if the fates had it, he'd be in Europe right now with Team USA. Strike two pitch is slapped into left field. So Furcal goes down to get it, just goes the other way and strokes it into left field. So with Rafael at first, the batter will be Matt Kemp. Matt Kemp batting .305, 23 home runs, 91 runs batted in. The Pirate rookie pitchers have not done nearly as well as their hitters. The rookie pitcher's earned run average is almost 4.5. So here's Daniel McCutchen, 0-1. Right-hander delivers, fastball tight up and in. 1 ball and no strikes. McCutchen was 13-6 at Indianapolis. He's basically fastball and curve, change, and he's tinkering with a slider, we understand. 1 ball and no strikes. McCutchen ready, and the 1-0 pitch on the way. That's taken up and in. Ball 2. 2-0 the count. Up north, the Giants and the Rockies at AT&T Park. AT&T Park has been a nightmare for Colorado. The Giants lost 6 of 9 in Denver, but they've beaten the Rockies 5 out of 6 up north. Here's the 2-0 pitch on the way to Matt Kemp. Instead, a throw to first. The Rockies-Giants game just starting. Jason Hamill for Colorado and Tim Lincecum for the Giants. In fact, if you look at the way the Giants staff is, when they come here Friday, the Dodgers figure to have quite a challenge. In fact, they'll have 3 challenges. Here's the 2-0 pitch on the way to Matt Kemp. Instead, a throw to first. From the looks of things, when San Francisco comes here this weekend, it'll be Lincecum on Friday. Probably Matt Cain on Saturday. Or maybe it'll be the other way. Maybe Penny pitches Friday, then Lincecum, and then Cain. 2-0, there goes for call. Missed at the plate. The poor throw kicks away into shallow left field, but not far enough. And Percall holds at second base. So Rafael Percall stealing second, and Kemp with an opportunity to pick him up on a 2-1 count as he swung at a breaking ball and missed. So again, looking ahead, and of course that's something the Dodgers can't afford to do, but we can. That would be a fearsome threesome if you get Brad Penny Friday night, then Matt Cain followed by Tim Lincecum. But that's the weekend. Right now the Dodgers have a lot of work to do, and a 2-1 count to Matt Kemp. Percall with his 7th stolen base. And McCutchen delivers and drops it low, and a 3-1 count. Waiting on deck is Andre Ethier. Rafael Percall on an 0-2 pitch, single to left, steals second, and now a 3-1 count to Matt Kemp, who has 91 runs batted in, trying to pick him up. McCutchen ready. Dan delivers, and it's way outside. Ball 4. Well, it's one thing for a veteran like John Garland to have the bases loaded in 1 out. He calmly went about it and got out of it. But now a rookie McCutchen, and he starts off on a bad note. Andre Ethier coming up, and John Russell, who's been through the mill for 2 years now, watching another young pitcher in danger. McCutchen is 26. He'll be 27 the end of the month. And the batter is Andre Ethier. Interesting, throughout this series, of the 6 major leaguers to have hit 3 home runs in a game this season, 3 of them are in uniform tonight. Andre Ethier is one of them. Jim Tomei in the dugout is another as Ethier takes low. And out there in the outfield, Andrew McCutchen, the center fielder, he has also hit 3 home runs in a game. Who are the other 3 to make up the 6? Andrew Jones, Torrey Hunter, and Johnny Gomes. So here's Ethier. 1 ball and no strikes the count. Hitting .283, 28 home runs, 94 runs batted in. And the pitch to Andre is taken low and inside. Still getting deeper and deeper in a hole is Daniel McCutchen. 2-0 the count. Andre Ethier had a good idea, and Joe Kerrigan, the pitching coach, is going to go out and talk to McCutchen. Andre Ethier, they were asking about a letdown, having played the Giants on the weekend, playing the Giants on the upcoming weekend, and in between playing Pittsburgh. And he said, you just don't concentrate on the uniform. You don't look and say, I'm playing the Pirates, or I'm playing Pittsburgh, or I'm playing a team that has just been terrible for 17 years. You just look at the guy in the uniform and compete. Well, he's up there now with a 2-ball, no strike count against Daniel McCutchen. When McCutchen was called up from Indianapolis, he was red hot. He had won 4 straight and 9 of his last 10. He had a no decision in his debut against Cincinnati. 2-0 pitch on the way, and Ethier lifts it into right center, but it's very playable. McCutchen and Moss. It'll be McCutchen, and holding at second is for call. So Andre Ethier skies one to center, one away, and the batter will be Manny Ramirez. You know, it still holds up whenever they check Manny Ramirez and the Dodger fortunes. Since August 1, the Dodger record with Manny Ramirez is 81-57. 24 games above 500. When Manny is not in the starting lineup, the record is 34-26, 8 games above 500. Manny was off yesterday. The Dodgers struggled, scored only 2 runs, went 5 for 31 collectively. So he's back in there tonight with 2 on and 1 out. McCutchen backs off the rubber, and Manny takes a little walk out of the batter's box. Ramirez batting .307. He has 18 home runs, 55 runs batted in. Just thinking about McCutchen kicking the hat about 7 feet in the air, held by a teammate. That's a rather remarkable feat. Here's the pitch now to Manny Ramirez, and it is taken low, ball 1. Perhaps one of the more supple athletes I ever heard of was the great golfer Sam Snead. And I had old-time golfers who knew Sam. He could stand in a doorway and kick the top of the door. Try that. And he was doing that somewhat of an advanced age. 1 ball and no strikes to Manny Ramirez. 2 on, 1 out, first inning, no score, and Manny's tired of waiting and backs out. Dodgers have really had their way with the Pirates, but of course the Pirates have been struggling, losing records for 17 straight. But since 2001, the Dodgers are 43-15 as Ramirez takes high, ball 2, 2-0. So we are spinning our wheels here in the first inning. John Garland loaded the bases, got out of it, and the Pirates stranded 3. Now the Dodgers have first and second, 1 out, and a 2-0 count to Manny Ramirez. For call at second, Kemp at first, and James Loney on deck. 2-0 pitch on the way. Manny fouls it away off to the right. 2-1 the count. Ramirez making the great circle route, walking out from around home plate, going behind the catcher and the plate umpire. One reason, gesturing with one arm, trying to remind himself about his swing, and very slowly and deliberately gets back in. No score. We're in the bottom of the first inning. 2 balls and 1 strike the count, with Furcal and Kemp, and keep an eye on them in this count. Pitch to Ramirez, line drive down the left field line, base hit into the corner. Furcal will score the relay, and it'll be a throw to the plate on Kemp, and he is out at the plate. Great tag by Ryan Dummett as Matt Kemp came roaring across. Wonderful play by the Pirate catcher. So the Dodgers get 1. That's the second out as Manny is at second base. But a great relay from Lasting Millage, who has to play the ball off the left field wall at the base of the box seats. Gunned it back into shortstop, and Ronnie Cedeno on the money, and Dummett a great tag. A wonderful play by the Pirates, and Kemp is out. But the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead. C.B. Buckner had to make sure that the ball stayed in Dummett's mid. The Pirate outfield now has 40 assists. Andrew McCutchen in center has 8, and Brandon Moss in right has 8. Millage not quite that many, but he just picked up an assist. So they can throw, these fellas. And it is 1-0 Dodgers. Ramirez at second, and here is Loney. And James promptly pops the first one up, and it'll be Ronnie Cedeno waiting and makes the catch for the out. So the Dodgers get one, and the Bucks make a great defensive play. And at the end of an inning, 1-0 Dodgers. Of the plate on a fine defensive play, Millage, Cedeno, and Dumit. So the Bucks had to be frustrated, spirits down after leaving the bases loaded in the top of the first. Now lift their spirits with a fine defensive play. And in the second inning, it'll be Ronnie Cedeno who made that perfect throw to the plate, and Ronnie takes a strike 0-1. Cedeno is from Carabobo in Venezuela, originally signed 10 years ago by the Cubs. And the strike one pitch, he goes after a bad ball, hits it to plate. Casey throws him out, and just like that, one away. So John Garland, who made 23 pitches in the first inning, takes care of Cedeno immediately. And the batter now is Ramon Vazquez. He is the second baseman for the Pirates. Ramon from Albanito in Puerto Rico, signed by the Mariners way back in 1995. He's 33 and takes a strike. Left-hander who can play second, short, or third. Ramon, a very honest guy, as he takes low, 1 ball, 1 strike. He says when he was 8 years old, he was such a pitiful baseball player. His father had to organize a team so he could play. Then he turned to volleyball. He was so frustrated over baseball because opposing fans fired guns at his team when they won a high school tournament. Oh, great. The 1-1 pitch fouled away, 1-2. So then Ramon decided, okay, I don't think I'll play baseball. And he played professional volleyball. Not that he'd get a lot of money. He got about $2,000 a year. And then concentrated on surfing. So really, he didn't play much baseball at all until he was 17. Fouls one away, and the count 1-2. After 6.5 years, almost 7 in the minor leagues, he made his big league debut in 2001. And in his first major league at bat, picked up a base hit. 1-2 the count to Ramon Vazquez. Now the 1-2 pitch as Garland just stares down to Martin, too much time, and Ramon backs out. Not only do the Pirates have 2 McCutcheons, Andrew the center fielder, Daniel the pitcher, they also have 2 Vazquez, One, Virgil, whom they call Matt, as a pitcher, and Ramon, the infielder. One away, second inning. Dodgers leading the Pirates 1-0. Pirates are hoping to come up with some of the wonderful players they had in the past, and they've had so many, a remarkable franchise. As the youngsters LaRoche, Dumet continue to grow, the pitch is low, and 2-2 the count to Ramon Vasquez. I mean, how'd you like to start a year with your second baseman being Bill Mazeroski? The 2-ball, 2-strike pitch is poked on the ground wide at third. Casey throws him out. So 2 down, and the pitcher Daniel McCutchen coming up. You know, tomorrow night the first 50,000 fans in attendance to see the Dodgers and Pirates will take home a World of Dodgertown fleece blanket, compliments of State Farm. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com or call 866-DODGERS. Randy Wolf will be on the mound to test that left elbow against Zach Duke. And the pitch outside, ball 1 to Daniel McCutchen. McCutchen has had 4 at-bats, and he's 1 for 4 since being called up from Indianapolis. Takes a strike. 1-1 to count to Daniel. He's followed by another McCutchen. That would be Andrew. 1-1 pitch on the way, poked on the ground to the right side. Big hop for Hudson, gets it to Loney, and that's that. So a much easier inning for John Garland in the second inning than he had that troublesome first. And he walks off at the end of an inning and a half, leading 1-0. Nothing as we go to the bottom of the second inning. The youngsters are here. Hope you'll include us in your plans as time runs out in the regular season. Tonight, game number 145, and we've spotted a bonus baby in the stands. They are here, all ages, all temperaments, all appetites. And into the second we go, 1-0 Dodgers. Blake hitting .278. Casey takes low, ball 1. 17 home runs, 73 runs batted in. Beginning tonight, the Dodgers certainly have one of the easiest remaining schedules in the league as Blake takes a strike. If you look at the teams the Dodgers have to play between now and the end of the year, they have a combined winning percentage of .445. In other words, the group would be under 500. Of course, for the Dodgers, never mind figures. As Joe Torre, you just go one game at a time. Never mind the teams you're playing. Andre Ethier also expressing similar sentiments. 2-1 pitch, and Casey fouls it away off to the right upstairs, and the count 2-2. We mentioned it earlier. There are only 2 spots open, the division champ and the wild card, and the so-called magic number begins tonight, and that would be the number 12. Any combination of Dodger victories and or Giant defeats that add up to 12. Meanwhile, Casey Blake flares one into right field for a base hit. Over to get it is Moss, and Casey will hold with a base hit to right. And the batter now will be Russell Martin. By the way, in talking about the Giants and the Rockies, bottom of the first inning, and Aaron Rowan had a 2-run single against Jason Hamill. So the Rockies, who lost 2 out of 3 against a Padres team that they had beaten 8 out of 12. Now they're up at AT&T where they've lost 5 out of 6, and they're immediately down 2-0 second inning. So here now is Russell Martin hitting .258, half a dozen home runs, 48 runs batted in, hit 2 home runs in the Giants series, one a towering fly ball inside the left field foul line, and the other one a hard line drive into the bleachers. Martin waiting. Daniel McCutchen set. Right-handed delivers, and he's low. 1 ball and no strikes. So McCutchen gave up a single, a walk, and a double. Only 1 run, might have been more, except for the great relay from Millage to Cedeno, and then that wonderful tag by Ryan Dumit, the catcher. 1-0 the count to Russell Martin, and Dumit in a crouch shuffling his cards. And the 1-0 pitch coming up to Russell Martin. Swung on, chopper foul outside of third down the line. 1 ball and 1 strike. By the way, in comparing the Dodgers playing teams under 500, the Rockies, on the other hand, have a combined winning percentage opponent of .513. That's 10th highest in Major League Baseball and the 4th highest in the National League. So the Dodgers have a huge advantage over Colorado. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. McCutchen delivers, and that's high and inside. Ball 2, 2-1. To repeat, Giants leading the Rockies 2-0. Giants 4.5 games behind the Rockies. So the feeling up there was, in order for them to get back into it, they just about have to sweep. And with their pitching in a short series, they can do that. Now the 2-1 pitch, and that's high. Ball 3. So Daniel McCutchen struggled in the first inning, and he's struggling here in the second in only his 3rd Major League start. Orlando Hudson waiting on deck. 3-1 to Russell Martin. Blake held on at first by Garrett Jones. Out of his stretch goes McCutchen. And his 3-1 pitch, Martin swings and pops it up, and boy, is that thing high. Let's see who's going to call. Cedeno, the shortstop, just to the left of the mound. So Martin pops it up to the shortstop. Holding it first is Casey Blake, and the batter is Orlando Hudson. Boy, when they talk about a big league pop fly, the big leaguers sure can hit them high. Orlando Hudson checking in, batting left-handed, hitting .286, 9 home runs, 58 runs batted in. Hudson is hitting .314 right and .277 left. Of his 9 home runs, 6 of the 9 hit left-handed. Dodgers lead 1-0 second inning, and Orlando takes way off the plate. Ball 1, 1-0. Hudson checking with Larry Boa. 26-year-old right-hander Daniel McCutchen on the hill, his 3rd Major League start. Now the right-hander ready, and the 1-0 pitch on the way. Hudson looks and pays a strike for the privilege, and a 1 ball, 1 strike count. When I look at Pittsburgh and I think of some of the great players down through the years, I also remember a fellow who had been in the Dodger organization and went to Pittsburgh and was phenomenal. And you use that word very, very rarely. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Orlando. Swung on, hit down the left field line. That's going to be a base hit and roll to the bullpen gate. So here comes Blake around third and stopping. Cedeno is all set to pull the trigger again as the relay man. So Larry Boa, having seen Kemp thrown out, was not about to send Blake, not that time. Runners at second and third, one out, and John Garland coming up. A pitch up, and it stayed up, and Hudson just drove a nail through it into left field. Lasting's Millage was shading to left center, and they had to go to the bullpen gate to get it. But as soon as Cedeno came up with it, Boa had stopped Blake. So second and third with one out, and John Garland coming up. John Garland with the bat has a half a dozen hits. He has struck out about half the time. He has 3 sacrifices if you're thinking squeeze. And the first pitch is a full swing and a miss, and the count 0-1. 1-0 in favor of the Dodgers. They scored when Ramirez doubled in for a call, only to have Kemp thrown out at the plate on the same play. So now the double by Hudson sends Blake to third with 1 out, and Garland up there, no balls and 1 strike. Out of his stretch goes McCutchen. Fastball down and dirty, blocked nicely by Dummett, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. We're talking about one of the great Pirates. He was a little guy, very slender, wore glasses. He won 17 straight in 1959, and the year before he won 5 straight. So he actually won 22 in a row. Here's the 1-1 pitch with the infield out. Ground ball to third, short hop nicely, and the out at first. Good play by Andy LaRoche. So the run is whole, and the batter will be Rafael Furcal. Who was the phenomenal pitcher? Well, his name was Elroy Face. And in 1959, when the Dodgers and the Giants were in that fierce pennant race, Dodgers eventually beating the Braves out to go to the series and win. But that year, Roy Face, his record was 18-1. In fact, he was 17-0 in the middle of September. This is just about an anniversary. And the Dodgers beat him in the Coliseum. So he wound up 18-1 in 1959. Boy, would the Bucks or anybody else love to have Roy Face now. Well, here is Furcal. Second and third, 2 outs, second inning, 1-0 Dodgers. And McCutchen's fastball is off the plate, ball 1, 1-0. We mentioned Bill Mazeroski going way back. I guess he was one of the greatest hitters of all time, Paul Wainer. The 1-0 pitch on the way is swung on and missed, 1-1. And then there was Honus Wagner going all the way back. But the idea is, Pirates, once upon a time, a proud and wonderful organization, fallen upon lean times for the last 17 years. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way to Rafael Furcal, and it swung on and fouled back. Good fastball, 1-2 the count. Rafael hit a no-ball 2-strike pitch into left field for a base hit, then stole second and came around to score. The one thing, as we've mentioned, Furcal is not doing what he used to do. He used to steal a lot of bases. This year he has stolen 7 and he's been caught 5, but you have to remember he had that serious back surgery and he's done remarkably well at shortstop. The 1-2 pitch on the way to Furcal is swung on and fouled back. In fact, it might have been my favorite play of the year, and it just happened Sunday. You remember when there were runners at first and third for the Giants? Freddie Sanchez was the runner at third, and there was a sharp ground ball to Loney. And Loney fired to Furcall for one, and everybody in the ballpark was looking for Raphael to fire the ball back to Loney. Instead, he fired a strike to Russell Martin, and they got Freddie Sanchez, who was almost shocked out of his uniform. But you have to be a very special shortstop. You have to have a great arm, and you also have to get a perfect feed, and he did just that on the throw by Loney. 1-2 pitch on the way is fouled away again. The other thing, it was a left-handed batter who hit the ground ball. That was important because at the time, Raphael was shading the left-hand hitter. So he was taking the throw from Loney while being just about squared up to home plate. But put it all together, it was a super play. All right, the 1-2 pitch to Raphael for a call, and he takes, and it's low. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Dodgers 1 run, 4 hits. Pirates no runs, 1 hit. Deuce is wild here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Runners at second and third. And Furcall hits another foul ball out of play off first base. So still 2-2. So Casey Blake, who opened up with a single to right. Orlando Hudson, who doubled into third. And with 2 down, here is Furcall. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count with Matt Kemp on deck. We're only in the bottom of the second inning. Dodgers lead 1-0. McCutchen out of a stretch. And the 2-2 pitch on the way. Fastball, big bouncer to first. Garrett Jones takes it to the bag, and that's that. Dodgers leave runners at second and third. And at the end of 2 shaky innings, McCutchen walks off with the Dodgers leading 1-0. To nothing in the third inning. Up north, the Giants are now leading the Rockies 3-0 in the third. Rowan had a 2-run single, and Eugenio Velez had a scoring fly ball. Travis Ishikawa brought the run in. So now Andrew McCutchen 1 for 1 at the plate. Takes a look at a pitch on the outside corner for a strike, and the count 0-1. Andrew out of Fort Meade, Florida, swings, pulls one down the left field line, foul. 0-2 the count. Andrew McCutchen, 5'11", 185. He's 22. He'll be 23 in October, and he was a first-round pick by the Pirates 4 years ago. Fort Meade, Florida is a phosphate mining town of about 5,000 people, maybe 70 miles or thereabouts east of St. Petersburg. Didn't have a lot of coaching, but a natural talent. His father is a youth minister at a non-denominational church, and Andrew sings in the choir. So Andrew waiting, hitting .272, and takes one up and in, jerked his head out of the way, helmet flew off, 1-2 the count. So he puts the helmet back on as Garland came tight. Andrew hit the very first pitch of the game for a base hit to left field. One and two the count. Garland had to work awfully hard. Bases loaded, 1 out, and he got out of the jam in the first inning. Leading 1-0, he delivers 2-2, and it's low and away. Ball 3, 3-0. McCutchen, among every other thing, was a standout wide receiver as he hits a foul ball. The school is high school at Fort Meade, known for its football tradition. He got the team into the state finals. But when he got hurt, he injured his knee on a rainy night. That's when he decided, I think I've had enough football. I'm going to stick with baseball. 3-2 is fouled at the plate. He led the county in hitting in Florida. He hit .507. By the way, he was an 8th grader when he hit .507. So Andrew McCutchen waiting, right-hand batter, 3-2 pitch, swung on, pulled foul into the Dodger dugout, the far corner. So still 3-2. Andrew back up and waiting. Garland looks down, getting a sign. John comes back, 3-2, and it's fouled away again. When they signed Andrew McCutchen, he was rated very highly in the Pirate organization, second best prospect, then the first, and now here he is. Jim Tracy described him as being instinctive, and he takes ball 4. So McCutchen, who's single in his first trip, now draws a walk, and remember, he has stolen 16 out of 20. So John Garland has his work cut out for him, and the batter is Andy LaRoche. 1-0 Dodgers. Top of the third. The only Dodger run. Furcal single, stole second. Kemp walked. 1-out double by Ramirez got Furcal home, but Kemp was cut down from Millage to Cedeno to Dumas. So here's Andy. LaRoche bent at the knee, slightly at the waist, takes a strike, and the count 0-1. To repeat, it is 3-0 in favor of the Giants. They're in the bottom of the third. Game 1 up north. Tim Lincecum, who couldn't pitch against the Dodgers, sore back, but he's on the mound right now and leading the Rockies. Garland looks in, getting a sign. LaRoche waiting, and the strike one pitch on the way. John set, comes back to his hitter and misses inside. 1-1. You know how Lincecum hurt his back? They had just come off a road trip. He was carrying a suit bag and pulling a bag on wheels. Came home, bent down to pet his dog, and barked. And as the dog barked, he coughed. And when he coughed, something grabbed in his back. Bingo. Misses a start. But he's in there tonight. 1-1 to count to Andy LaRoche. Throw to first. And McCutchen diving back to the bag. Guys get hurt putting their socks on, or stockings actually. Sanitary's the white sock that you wear underneath the heavy stirrup sock. 1 ball and 1 strike. Furcal is the only one out there you can recognize as wearing the sanitary and then the stirrup sock. Everybody else kind of droopy draws. pants spilling down over the shoes. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. LaRoche waiting. McCutchen cautious lead at first. Dodgers lead 1-0 in the third. Garland very deliberate. Now comes to the plate and it's swung on. Ground ball into left field. Base hit. McCutchen to second and holding. So Garland got out of the first inning with the bases loaded and 1 out. Now he's in the soup. First and second and nobody out. And Garrett Jones coming up. You know, Manny's first bobblehead night of the year provided a magical moment. They'll commemorate his pinch hit grand slam with a curtain call bobblehead presented by San Manuel Indian Bingo and Casino. That'll be the Pirates at 12:10, and for tickets call 866-DODGERS or visit Dodgers.com. All right, Garrett Jones, 19 home runs, grounded out in the first inning. Left-hand hitter goes after a bad ball, doesn't get it, and the count 0-1. Jones not only has 19 home runs, but he's been a big gun on the road. He has hit safely in 27 of his 31 games on the road. 2 on, nobody out. 1-0 Dodgers in the third. Garland set, looking back at second, now to the plate, and another pitch that appeared off the plate, and Jones after it and misses. 0-2 the count. So Garrett Jones perhaps pressing a little bit, and Garland taking advantage. Worked him low, worked him away, and each time Garrett went after it. No balls and 2 strikes to Garrett Jones. Now the strike 2 pitch on the way, and that's low and away. This time he wouldn't bite. For Jones, in looking at his numbers, he's had about 270 plate appearances, and he has struck out 57 times. 1-2 the count. Big fella, 6'4", 235. And the 1-2 pitch on the way is pulled foul outside of first down the line. Got a curveball and was able to turn on it. Jones started his career in 2002. Came up briefly with the Minnesota Twins in 2007. And now here he is with the Bucks. And doing well, hitting .303, 19 home runs, 39 runs batted in. Game 1 of the 3-game series, John Garland leading 1-0, but he is laboring. John set at the belt, and the 1-2 pitch swung on and missed, and down goes Jones. That is the second strikeout. Remember, Brandon Moss struck out with the bases loaded in the first inning. And now Jones goes down with first and second and nobody out. So the batter now is Ryan Dummett, the catcher, hitting cleanup. Ryan walked in the first inning, hitting just .239 with 9 home runs, 29 runs batted in. Garland set and delivers and works it away. Ball 1. 1-0 the count to Ryan. Made a wonderful tag on Matt Kemp, handling a hard throw from Ronnie Cedeno. Well, Kemp rarely thrown out when waved in, but he was nailed that time. 1 ball and no strikes. Dummett in and out of the box. Last year he had .318 with 15 home runs and 69 runs batted in, so he is way off his feed, hitting only .239. Andrew McCutchen at second. Andy LaRoche at first. 1 out. 1-0 Dodgers. Top of the third. Garland delivers. Fastball, line drive, leaping catch by Hudson. Steps on second to double up McCutchen, and Garland walks off a very fortunate man. No runs, a hit, a walk, and 1 left. And at the end of 2.5 innings on that brilliant leaping catch by Hudson, Dodgers still lead 1-0.
brought to you by Hankook Tires. Tame the road with Hankook Tires.
Dodgers holding on to a 1-0 lead only because the Pirates are 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. And in 2 of the 3 innings, they've blown great opportunities to score. So now for the Dodgers in the bottom of the 3rd, Matt Kemp, Andre Ethier, and Manny Ramirez. For John Garland, he has now made 54 pitches in 3 innings. And the pitch to Matt Kemp fouled away, 0-1 the count. Matt, 20 home runs, 30 stolen bases. Actually, he has 23 home runs, 32 stolen bases. The first since Raul Mondesi 10 years ago. Strike 1 pitch on the way. Matt takes outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 run, 4 hits for the Dodgers. They left runners at 2nd and 3rd in the 2nd inning. Dodgers had Kemp thrown out at the plate on Ramirez double in the 1st inning. And the next one a strike, and the count 1-2. Well, the Giants have added another run. They're now leading the Rockies 4-0, bottom of the 4th. Benji Molina just hit a home run. 4-0 behind Lincecum. You're in a lot of trouble. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Matt. Hard hopper to 3rd. Staying with it is Andy LaRoche, who throws him out. So Matt, who walked in the 1st inning, rounds to 3rd, and the batter will be Andre Ethier. So Andre Ethier having a magnificent year, 28 home runs, 94 runs batted in. He's hit safely in 7 of the last 8 starts. He leads the team with the 28 home runs, the career high of 94 RBIs. And the first pitch to Andre is low, ball 1, 1-0. Andre has had 46 multi-hit games. He has company. Matt Kemp has the same number. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way, and that's taken for a strike, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Andre hitting .316 against right-hand pitching. Left-handers have shut him down. He's hitting just .193 against left-handers. The 1-1 pitch on the way, and Andre fouls it back. 1-2. We're in the bottom of the 3rd. Dodgers lead the Pirates 1-0. The Giants lead the Rockies 4-0 in the 4th. For the Giants, I guess you'd call it a last gasp, 1 shot at reviving their hopes for the wild card. They began 4.5 back of the Rockies. 1-2 pitch is swung on, fly ball to right center, moving over and calling is Moss, and Brandon makes the catch for the 2nd out. Ball was not hit hard, kind of a lazy fly ball, and Manny Ramirez coming up. Manny doubled in the 1st inning to drive in for call. Lost a 2nd RBI when Matt Kemp was cut down from Millage to Cedeno to Duman. Manny hit .400 on that brief road trip to Phoenix and San Francisco. He's had 5 home runs, 10 RBIs in his last 13 games, plus first time up tonight. 1 ball and no strikes. McCutchen back with a fastball low. 2 balls and no strikes the count with James Loney on deck. 1 run, 4 hits for the Dodgers, no runs, 2 hits for the Pirates. Now the 2-0 pitch on the way. Dan McCutchen delivers, and that's low. 3-0 the count to Manny. Well, if he's pitching around him, we'll see how close he comes 3-0, because Manny could easily be green lighted. 18 home runs, 56 runs batted in, and this is a strike outside corner at the knees. I think Manny thought it was ball 4. Yep, he shakes his head at plate umpire C.B. Buckner. Now gets back out. 3-1. McCutchen ready, and the right-hander delivers, and that's foul back. 3-2. And that time Dan challenged him, and backing out with a big grin on his face for the moment was Manny Ramirez, but the grin didn't last long. He just looked and said something briefly to C.B. Buckner, the plate umpire. For C.B., well, he's had over 10 years umpiring in the big leagues. He was born in Jamaica in the West Indies. 3-2 pitch coming up to Manny Ramirez. McCutchen delivers, and it's hit in the air to shallow center. Here comes McCutchen to make a one-hand catch, and boy, was he flying. So Manny Ramirez flies out to McCutchen at the end of 3, 1-0 Dodgers. Trivia question. John Garland is one of 6 current Dodgers who has won a World Series. Who are the others? Well, we'll give you the answer in a little while. They got off to a great start tonight with the USC marching band playing the national anthem in center field. Heartiest congratulations to Pete Carroll, all the kids on his football team, to the band and the university. That was a great way to start against Ohio State. And our heartiest congratulations to UCLA for that big win down in Tennessee. Lastings Millage, who has hit in 9 of 11, came up with a bases loaded and 1 out in the first inning and popped up. This time a fly ball, late start by Kemp, but he'll go back and make the catch anyway. So Matt did not get a jump on the ball, so it turns out he had to make it a tougher play than it really was, and he made it. Ball hit over his head, and somehow with those great reflexes he catches up to it. That's the ball that really gives him trouble. In other words, any ball that's hit in the gap, left center, right center, look out. He comes and makes the play. But that ball hits straight away to center. He's still not 100%. Maybe it's this ballpark. You know, this is a wedding cake if you're out there looking in, especially so in the daytime. But he's learning, and he just passed another test. 0-2 the count to Brandon Moss. Moss struck out in the first inning with the bases loaded. 1-2. So John Garland and his opposing pitcher Daniel McCutchen each made 54 pitches in the first 3 innings. McCutcheon sitting quietly in the dugout, catching his breath. Only down 1-0. Each pitcher could have given up more and was able to wiggle off the hook. 1-2. 2-2. It was July 31st of last year, a 3-team deal. Brandon and relief pitcher Craig Hansen went from the Red Sox to the Pirates. Jason Bay went from Pittsburgh to Boston. Manny Ramirez went from Boston to the Dodgers. And Andy LaRoche and Brian Morris from the Dodgers to the Pirates. 2-2 the count to Brandon Moss. Soon to be 26. 26 on Wednesday. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bad ball, badly fooled, fastball away. He chased it, strikes out a second time. Take a look at the location. Watch Russell Martin setting out over the plate. And then the ball drifts away, and Moss chased it. So with 2 out, Ronnie Cedeno coming up. He grounded to third in the second inning. Fouled away. Cedeno already distinguished himself on that great relay from Millard to get Kemp. He made such an impression that when Hudson doubled, Larry Boa kept Blake at third, with Cedeno again poised and ready. 0-2 the count to Ronnie. Look at that look. He thought that was outside. The Buckners hearing it a little bit from each hitter. You can see Martin trying to pull it over, and it fooled Buckner. Ball 1. Of course, the hitters tell you that all umpires have some weak spot. All they ask of the plate umpires to be consistent. Little ground ball back at third, short, hop backhanded, and Blake's throw is safe. A head-first dive by Cedeno, and Loney had to come across the bag, and Ronnie beat it. So it was a nice try by Blake to backhand and short hop it. Cedeno runs very well, and the ball was a high bouncer, so it ate up a little time. And he just got there as Loney left foot came off the bag, lunging for the throw. They were waiting for the scorer's decision. Loney tried to stay anchored, couldn't do it. It'll go as a base hit. So that is hit number 3 for the Bucks, and the batter is Ramon Vazquez, batting 8th in the lineup, hitting .246. Oh, and 1 the count. Ramon Vazquez has bounced around a bit. He was with the Mariners. Padres made a deal, they got him. Then the Red Sox made a deal and acquired him from the Padres. Then the Indians made a deal with the Red Sox and they got Vazquez. Then he signed with the Rangers. Then he filed for free agency, and here he is with the Pirates. Off speed, he is way out in front of that slow curve. 0-2. So Garland is not dazzling, but he's getting the job done. 2 out, 4th inning, 1-0 Dodgers. Oh, 2. Ball 1, pushed out in front by Martin. New ball put in play. So Ramon Vazquez, a veteran infielder. once referred to by his manager Bruce Bochy as a Major League Baseball player. Cedeno held on by Loney. 2 out, 4th inning, 1-0 Dodgers. Cedeno is 2 for 2 in stolen bases. You have the number 8 hitter at the plate and the pitcher to follow. In the dirt again and blocked again by Martin. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Garland with a 2-seam fastball that sinks, and then he's also keeping the breaking ball down. So a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Vasquez, whose first big league hit was as a pinch hitter in his first big league game. 2-2. Cedeno goes, and it's fouled away. So they run Cedeno, and the count stays 2-2 to Vasquez. Kind of a daring play in a sense when you have the pitcher due up next. But again, what's the difference? With the Pirates, you do anything you want. You're 27.5 back. Who's counting? Garland just turns his back on the hitter for the moment. Looks like a paper airplane retrieved by Orlando Hudson. Okay, he'll get the good housekeeping seal of approval. Cedeno is going on the last pitch. We'll see what they do with him this time. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Vasquez with 1 home run. Cedeno does not go. On a drive to right, Ethier has the ball over his head. It's going to bounce against the wall. They will wave Cedeno in, and he will score without a play. On a long double by Ramon Vasquez, and the Pirates have tied up the Dodgers 1-1. For Vasquez, a Major League Baseball player, said Bruce Bochy, and he comes up with a Major League clutch double, his 7th. He has 16 runs batted in, and Cedeno scores easily. So if you know Vasquez is going to do something like that, pretty good idea to run Cedeno. But he wasn't running on the double. Still scored easily. So Vasquez at second base. Remember, the Bucks are 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. And here's McCutchen. Shows bunt. Ball 1. 1 run, 4 hits, and no errors for each side. Daniel McCutchen out of Texas. One ball and no strike. Shows bunt. Misses it. I was just thinking, he was signed by the Yankees out of the University of Oklahoma. And the fortunes have not been kind to him. He's with a team that has won 55. The Yankees have won 92. But he's in the big leagues. 1-2. McCutchen, they tell me, runs very well. In fact, when he was at the University of Oklahoma, he was the fastest running player on the team 3 years in a row. Little foul ball. So in the inning with 2 out, Cedeno legs out that hopper to third. Blake's hurried throw, pulling Loney off the bag, and then Ronnie scores on the long double by Ramon Vasquez. 1-1 in the 4th. Giants winning handily 4-0, bottom of the 5th. That's behind Tim Lincecum. Jason Hamill not doing very well for Colorado. Off speed, little roller, Blake on the run and throws him out. However, the single by Cedeno, the double by Vasquez, and the Bucks are not throwing in the towel. It's 1-1. Brought to you by Shakey's Pizza. Money crunch? Try Shakey's all-you-can-eat bunch of lunch. Pizza, chicken, and more. Served 11 to 2 daily only at your neighborhood Shakey's. Downtown Los Angeles looks like a jewel box as we go in a 1-1 tie to the bottom of the 4th inning. John Garland, in 4 innings, has made 78 pitches. And by the way, one of the things you always forget about are the foul balls. Well, the Bucks have fouled off 21 pitches to inflate the pitch count. 21 fouls. So it's been a tough 4 innings for him. And now in the bottom of the 4th inning, the Dodgers tried to ease in his burden with Loney, Blake, and Martin. James, one of the few hitters still around who can say has more walks than strikeouts. And ball 1. Loney batting .282, 12 home runs, 85 runs batted in. Got away cheaply enough on that odd play yesterday, diving at a ball and crashing into first base umpire Sam Holbrook. And he hurt his neck. And getting on the airplane, he said his neck and upper back were sore, but today when he reported to the dressing room, he said he was okay. And here he is. Foul ball, 2-1. Totals are identical, 1 run, 4 hits, and no errors for each side. John Garland and Daniel McCutchen. Tomorrow night, Zach Duke and Randy Wolf. 2-1. Ball 3. Then Wednesday, remember, a 12-10 game. Kevin Hart and Hiroki Kuroda. Thursday, an off day. And then here come the Giants again. Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon. The Kuroda, who was absolutely magnificent at AT Park, will be called upon again on Wednesday. So there's ball 4 to Loney to bring up Casey Blake. Remember the trivia question? We were talking about John Garland and the fact that he is one of 6 current Dodgers who has won a World Series. Who are the others? Well, just to refresh your memory, Manny Ramirez, of course, Juan Pierre, Doug Minkiewicz, Ronnie Belliard, and Jeff Weaver. In case you forget, Pierre did it with Florida, Ramirez with the Red Sox, Minkiewicz with the Red Sox, Weaver and Belliard with the Cardinals, and Garland with the White Sox. Casey Blake single to right, but was stopped at third on a 1-out double by Hudson and never did get home. 1 ball and no strikes. That's in there. 1-1. Fouled away. 1-2. 8 straight years the Dodgers have won the season series from Pittsburgh. Over that stretch, the Dodger record going back to 2001, 43 wins and only 15 losses. They've also won 5 of the last 7 last year, 7 of the last 9. But Bucks are even right now. The buck stops here, 1-1 in the 4th. Fouled away. 1-2. Casey Blake missed 5 games. He had that tight hamstring, and the Dodgers didn't want him to pull it. But he's back and running well. Last 5 games coming off the injury, he's 8 for 15. Now 9 for 16. Loney held on by Garrett Jones. One ball and 2 strikes. Slicing foul ball down the line, out of play. Pittsburgh Pirates have won 55 games. And looking at the teams they have played, for instance, the Cubs just wore Russell's team out. Cubs beat him 9 out of 11. Colorado beat him 6 out of 9, but 9 out of 11. Wow. Whoop, that got him on the hand. The Casey hit on the left hand, and a 90-mile-an-hour fastball got him. So that has to hurt. Mariano Duncan, Dodger trainer. Here comes Joe Torre. There are so many tiny bones in the hand, and then they get hit. Looks like the heel of the left hand, that might have been a little bit better than below the knuckles, let's say. But a 90-mile-an-hour fastball can do an awful lot of damage anyway. 1 run, 4 hits. Dodgers in a moment will have runners at first and second and nobody out, and Russell Martin will be coming up. Casey now puts the glove back on, so I assume he's okay. Fastball just riding in, and Blake has convinced Todd Tomczyk and his skipper Joe Torre that he is okay. 1-1 in the 4th inning, and the Dodgers have something going on a walk and a hit batter. Russell Martin hit one up the chute, a towering pop fly on the infield caught by Ronnie Cedeno, and then Hudson doubled. Six home runs and a line drive by the diving Cedeno. However, Loney was going back to second, and the bases are loaded. Cedeno came within inches of catching it. Might as well have been a mile. And then the ball bobbled momentarily by McCutcheon. Take another look. Line drive. Here goes Cedeno, that close. And then Loney, going one way, had to go to the other. So the bases are loaded on a walk, a hit batter, and a single. And the batter will be Orlando Hudson. If you were with us in the second inning, you may remember Hudson got a ball up and away and just hit it into the left field corner. Orlando hitting .287, 9 home runs, 58 runs batted in. And a strike. 0-1. Orlando Hudson had a grand slam against Mark Pryor and the Cubs 3 years ago. 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Loney walked on 4 pitches. Blake hit by a pitch. Martin a line drive single to load the bases. Hudson, Garland, and Furcal in that order. Buck set the infield in double play depth. 1-1. Shot up the middle. Cedeno goes to the bag, doubles him at first. On the play, Loney scores, and the Dodgers take a 2-1 lead. The Hudson a 6-3 DP. Casey Blake moves to third. Loney brings the run in. For Orlando Hudson, no RBI, of course. The 13th double play in which he has hit. And the batter now will be John Garland, who grounded to third in the second inning. Two runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. 1 run, 4 hits for the Pirates. Ball 1. It is 4-0 Giants. They're now in the top of the 6th inning, behind Tim Lincecum. Fastball, strike. Fastball at 87. The fastball that hit Blake was 90. 1-1. Casey down the line from third with 2 out. Another fastball and another strike. That one was up to 93. Daniel McCutchen, soon to be 27. And that will do it. So a little slider takes care of Garland, but not before the Dodgers get a couple of breaks. A walk, a hit batter, and a base hit, and they lead 2-1. Go to the 5th inning. For John Garland, it has been a struggle, but it's the old story. So far, so good. Meanwhile, Daniel McCutchen trying to hang tough. He's made 73 pitches. Garland, however, had made 54 and is now up to 78 through 4 innings. Andrew McCutcheon singled and walked. The young center fielder will lead it off. And a strike, 0-1. Andrew hitting .272, 11 home runs, 47 runs batted in. Little ground ball for Call. Guns it and gets him. One away. Boy, what a blessing it is to play shortstop and have the arm like Furcal. So one away. Andy LaRoche walked, single to left. Pirates had the bases loaded with one out in the first inning and failed to score. They had first and second and nobody out in the third inning and failed to score. And they finally pushed one over in the fourth. And a strike. 0-2. One and two the count. Andy LaRoche was a 4.0 student in high school. Very bright young man. Dodgers signed him 6 years ago. He made it to the big club briefly in '07 and again last year. Two balls, two strikes. 9 home runs this year. He had 3 last year. His last year with the Dodgers, he had just 2. And a ground ball base hit up the middle. So for John Garland, he has retired the side in order only once. And the batter is Garrett Jones. So Andy LaRoche comes back and has a walk and 2 singles. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers, 1 run, 5 hits for the Pirates. Garrett Jones came up with 2 on in the first inning and grounded out. Came up with 2 on and nobody out in the third and struck out. And it looked like he was pressing a little bit, certainly in the third inning, swinging at bad balls. Ball 1, lays off 1 away. Garrett having a fine rookie year. In July, when they called him up, he hit 7 home runs in his first 12 games, and he homered in 4 straight games. Garrett Jones hit as many as 30 home runs in the minors. One ball and no strikes. And that's off the plate, ball 2. July the 17th this year, Garrett Jones really did something rare. He hit a home run in the first inning and then hit a walk-off shot in the 14th inning. The only other player to do that was Boston's Vern Stevens against the Yankees 58 years ago. So it made quite a headline in Pittsburgh, as you can imagine. 2-0 to Garrett. Hit down the left field line. Manny watching this, and it's going to land fair, bounce up into the stands. So the Bucks will have runners at second and third with 1 out, and John Garland is up to his hips in trouble again. So Garrett Jones, a double to left. You know, when you see a kid like Andrew McCutcheon, Lastings Millage, Garrett Jones, you get the feeling that even though the Pirates have had 17 consecutive losing years, they might very well be going in the right direction. I mean, some of these kids can play without a doubt. So here's Garland leading 2-1, but in a lot of trouble. Remember, the Pirates were 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Now they have two of them out there. Ryan Dumit walked and lined out. Line drive was a leaping catch by Orlando Hudson, turned it into a double play. Otherwise, he drives in a run in the third. And of course, earlier in the game, Ryan made a super tag, handling a throw by Ronnie Cedeno from left field, and was able to get Matt Kemp flying by. In the Dodger bullpen, James McDonald begins to warm up. All right, Garland pitching from a stretch. 0-1. To Ryan. 6'1", 210 out of Moses Lake, Washington. LaRoche at third, Jones at second, 1 out. 2-1 Dodgers. Garland's been in a mess all night. Retired the side in order only in the second inning. Almost got him. 1 ball and 1 strike. Dumit, a second round pick by the Pirates 10 years ago. 1-2. He signed a 3-year deal in December last year. The club has an option on 2012 and 13. Pretty handy guy to have around, switch hitting catcher. Natural side is right side. 2-2. One out, second and third. It's 2-1 in favor of the Dodgers. Dumit 9 home runs, 29 runs batted in. Foul ball. Slow curveball. He was kind of out in front of it. Somehow or other was able to get a little bit. Dumit, we mentioned, is a switch hitter. He was saying that he's been switch hitting since he was 4 years old. His dad told him and kind of willed him to be a switch hitter. It's paid off. He had a huge year last year. All 3. Last year he hit .330 against left-handers. Turned around and hit .314 against right-handers. Ryan Dumit, Doumit. His dad coached baseball, so you understand why he wanted him to be a switch hitter. Little ground ball wide at third. Blake looks, but his only play is to first. Scoring is LaRoche, and that ties it up. 2-2. So Dumit grounds out. Holding at second is Garrett Jones. LaRoche brings it in, and the batter is Lastings Millett. So Jones at second, 2 out, and a 2-2 tie. Millett popped up with the bases loaded in the first inning. Hit a ball to dead center. Matt Kemp got no jump at all. And instead of just going back and making the catch, Matt had to make a circus catch. But catch it he did. Ball 1. 1-0. For Lastings Millett, his father was a third-round pick of the St. Louis Cardinals back in 1973. But he only played 1 year of rookie league baseball and packed it in. He had 2 brothers, Anthony and Tony Jr. They never made it out of Class A, but Millett, he's a big leaguer. Ball 2. Millage came up 2006 with the Mets. And if I remember, he hit a home run, and then instead of just running out to his position, he ran along the edge of the seats shaking hands with people in the box seats. It did not go over too well in New York. 2-0. And that got away, and heading for third is Jones. So Garland has been spending a lot of night in the dirt, and finally that gets away. Though he goes back in the dirt, it was a backhanded effort by Martin. I don't think that's textbook. Instead of shoveling the ball out in front of the plate, Russell tries to backhand it. That is not recommended. That's not the way I heard Roy Campanella talk about how to handle a pitch in the dirt. For Garland, that would be his 6th wild pitch. Wow, was he out in front 3-0? So Millage was green lighted 3-0, and he just couldn't wait. I mean, that's a swing that has produced 2 home runs. I told you they can throw the book out the window. You got a guy with 2 home runs, and they green light him 3-0. Well, he's up there hacking. 3-2. Jones at third, a tiebreaker, 90 feet away. 3-2 the count. The Lastings Millage. Squirted foul. Remember at 2004, 5, and 6, when Millage was with the New York Mets, his mom and dad followed him in a camper. They call it Millageville or the Millage Village. It was son Tony's brainchild. And they'd go wherever he played. And after the game, he'd walk across the parking lot, go to the camper, and visit with his mom and dad. Little fly ball to right field. Ethiers at the other end of it. So the Dodgers give up 1, and it turns out to be the tying run. They also leave a man at third to the Bucks, and we're even 2-2. Bottom of the 5th inning in a 2-2 tie. Ramirez doubled back in the 1st inning, and the relay from Millage to Cedeno to Dumit, and they got Matt Kemp at the plate. So the Dodgers are tied 2-2. You get the feeling if they were playing a very good team, they'd be buried by now. But it's even. And for call, a drive to center. McCutchen on his horse makes the catch. Andrew McCutchen making a huge play in dead center. Kind of a sheepish grin on his face. Boy, he went back and got it. So Furcal unloads. Looked like the ball first was going to hook, but then it came back, and that helped in some ways for McCutchen. Wonderful play, one away. For the Dodgers, John Garland has made 102 pitches. He's been in constant trouble. And the Pirates have had golden opportunities. You know what the Pirates are doing in this game? They are 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. So a good hitting ball club, a better hitting ball club, would have racked up a few more runs, I would have to believe. So here's Kemp, one out, foul ball, 2-2 tie in the fifth. Matt walked out of the plate on the relay and grounded to third. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Pirates. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. Foul ball, 1-2. Fastball down and in. Daniel McCutchen. Tomorrow night, Zach Duke. Wednesday afternoon, Kevin Hart. Dodgers counter tomorrow night with Randy Wolf. And then Wednesday afternoon, Hiroki Kuroda. 1-2 to Kemp. Two and two. Andre Ethier waiting his turn on deck. And line drive. Single to center for Matt Kemp. And of course he will put a little grief on McCutchen because he has stolen 32. You know, the next Friday night fireworks show this Friday, Giants, Dodgers, and after the game you're invited on the field for a spectacular show set to the sounds of some all-time favorites. Compliments of USC University Hospital. For tickets, call 866-DODGERS or visit Dodgers.com. One out, single to center, and the batter Andre Ethier. Ethier flied to center, flied to right. They will certainly keep an eye on Matt. Stolen 32 out of 39 attempts. Well, the Rockies finally got on the board thanks to a wild pitch from Tim Lincecum. There goes Kemp. Pitch is high. Dumit's throw off the glove of Cedeno. I think Cedeno, had he held on to the ball, would have gotten him. Pretty good throw by Dumit right there, and it just went out of Ronnie's glove. So for Matt, he steals second base. That gives him 33 out of 40. Got a ways to go to catch Michael Bourne, that's for sure. But of course, Houston, Washington, they can run anytime. They're just playing out the string. So Ethier now trying to pick him up. 1 ball and no strikes. And a drive to center. Back goes McCutchen. Away back. She's gone. And the Dodgers lead 4-2. 29 home runs. 96 runs batted in for Andre Ethier. Just staying right on the ball, hits it over the center field wall. Andre's last home run was on the 5th against the Padres and Edwin Mojica. So Ethier having a huge year. kind of a dry spell. 1 home run in the previous 17. But he now breaks the tie, gives the Dodgers 4-2 lead, and here is Manny. Ball 1. So Ethier enjoying Manny hitting back of him. It's one thing to have Manny hit back of you, but it's the other to cash it in, and Ethier's doing just that. Little ground ball. LaRoche in front of Cedeno to take care of that. 2 down. So Manny goes 1 for 3, and the batter will be James Loney. Jeff Karstens begins to loosen up in the Pirate bullpen. McCutchen is due to bat 4th when the Pirates come up in the 6th inning. So the Dodgers 4 runs, 7 hits. Pirates 2 runs, 6 hits. They're in the top of the 7th inning up north. Giants 4, Rockies 1. And that's a fly ball to the gap, but Millage is there to make the catch. 2 runs, 2 hits, and at the end of 5, thanks to Andre Ethier, 4-2 Dodgers. For the Dodgers. In 1945, on September 13th, the Dodgers played a doubleheader at Ebbets Field, and they beat the Cardinals in the doubleheader. Then they got on a train to go to Chicago. That train at 4 o'clock in the morning hit a gasoline truck. A big explosion, etc. Dodgers got to Chicago and lost a doubleheader. John Garland leading 4-2 in the 6th. 1 ball and 1 strike. Brandon Moss has struck out twice. As we said earlier, a better hitting team, and Garland couldn't possibly be around. He made 102 pitches. Retired the side in order only once, and there have been runners in scoring position all night, and the Pirates are 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. In retrospect, examining the home run by Andre Ethier, the count was 1 ball and no strikes. Well, Daniel McCutchen has been pitching dangerously anyway. There's a 1-hopper to Hudson. 1 away. McCutchen has been 1 ball and no strikes to 15 of 21 Dodger hitters. And of course that violates a basic principle of pitching, which is get the first pitch for a strike and get the leadoff man. Well, he gave up a single in the first. He gave up a single in the second. He walked a batter in the 4th. And when you're consistently falling behind, sooner or later somebody's going to jump on one of those pitches. And on a 1-ball, no strike count, Ethier did just that. So it's 4-2 Dodgers. 6th inning, 1 out. Ronnie Cedeno line drive speared by Orlando. And we have 2 down here in the 6th inning. Orlando made a good leaping catch of a line drive by Dumet in the 3rd. Now he gets that one before it hits the ground here in the 6th. Ramon Vasquez had that double to tie up the game briefly in the 4th inning when he doubled in Ronnie Cedeno. Oh, and 1. For the Bucks, this is game number 142. So they have 20 games left, and if they lose tonight, they will have lost 87. Ground ball to Loney, and he'll feed Garland. So the prospect is, if they lose 13 of the remaining 20 in the way they've been playing, they might. They'll lose 100 games, and the Dodgers lead 4-2. Tonight, especially in the 3rd inning, going up in the air to spear a line drive from Ryan Dumet, taking away a base hit and a sure run batted in and turning it into a double play. Then, of course, he made another good play on Ronnie Cedeno. With the bat, Hudson doubled in the 2nd inning and then grounded into a double play in the 4th. He'll be facing Jeff Karstens and not Daniel McCutchen. So it'll be Blake, Martin, and Hudson. Jeff Karstens, a San Diego boy. He is 26. He'll be 27 the end of the month. Originally selected by the Yankees 6 years ago out of Texas Tech. That's a strike. 0-1. He went to Grossmont Junior College for a couple of years and then went to Texas. One and 1. Karstens was involved in the deal that sent Xavier Nady and Damaso Marte to the Yankees. Karstens, Daniel McCutchen, Ross Ohlendorf, they all came here. And that's going to hit off the end of the bat and dunk down the left field line. So Blake, who was hit on the hand last at bat, holds on enough to get himself a base hit to left field. So Casey is 2 for 2, and the batter will be Russell Martin. Hit number 1 off Karstens, and hit number 7 for the Dodgers. For Daniel McCutchen, 6 innings. He allowed 4 runs, 6 hits. Finally burned on the 2-run home run by Andre Ethier. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Hung-Chi Kuo begins to warm up. Martin had popped up and singled in the 4th inning, and Kuo getting ready. The book on Karstens: fastball, change, curve, and slider. And ball 1. Karstens, 6'3", 185. In the Yankee organization, and 3 years ago came up for the so-called cup of coffee, pitched 40 innings, and he was 2-1. Came up again 2 years ago, but only 14 innings for the Yankees. And now here he is with the Bucks. Two years ago he got a tough break, and no pun intended. Julio Lugo, playing for the Red Sox, hit a bullet back and it struck him in the leg, fractured his fibula. 3-0. This year he's just come off the DL. He had a strained lower back. Hudson's getting ready. 3-0 the count to Russell Martin. And a strike. Giants leading the Rockies 4-1, top of the 8th inning, and they have taken Tim Lincecum out of the game. They'll go to the pen now to protect that 4-1 lead. Three and one. Dodgers lead 4-2 here in the 6th inning. If the Dodgers are going to play run and hit, they certainly would appear to have the right guy at the plate in Martin. So we'll see if Joe puts it on. We'll watch Blake. He's not gone. And a good breaking ball for a strike. 3-2. In fact, Martin kind of quit on it, and it broke right in the zone. So with a full count, they weren't running Blake 3-1. See if they do it 3-2. Casey goes. Hard foul ball outside of third. Still 3-2. So Blake back to first. Tomorrow night, Randy Wolf will test that left elbow. He had a cortisone shot, and apparently has assured his skipper that he's okay. Clayton Kershaw, Joe said, is better, and hopefully before the homestand ends he'll get in a simulated game, probably a week. So it'll be a while before Kershaw goes back to the mound. All right, Blake was going 3-2 once, figures he'll be going again. There he goes, and it's popped in the air. Covering was Vasquez, so he goes back out and makes the catch. Moss, seeing that Vasquez broke to cover, so he was coming in to help, but the second baseman stays with it. 1 out. And Orlando Hudson coming up. Hudson doubled and grounded into a double play. Orlando 1 for 2, hitting .287. He has 9 home runs, 58 runs batted in. When the Bucks come up, time now. Joe Kerrigan is going out to talk to him, but Karstens is due to lead off in the 7th inning. Ideally, I'm sure John Russell wanted to either have the rally where they could bat for McCutchen, but it didn't happen. Jim Tomei comes out on deck to bat for John Garland. I haven't seen Jim in a while, but he's out on deck. 1 out. Down in the pen, Phil Dumitre and Steven Jackson. Dumitre, a left-hander. So with 1 out, Hudson to be followed by Tomei. Orlando with 9 home runs. Off speed, ball 1, 1-0. Curveball about 70, 71 miles an hour. Dodgers 4, Pirates 2. Bottom of the 6th inning. And there goes Blake. Hit and run chopper, foul ball. Garrett Jones making the dive, came up empty, but Blake will have to go back anyway. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hudson again taking a look at Boa. They put the play on once. We'll see if they put it on again. They played run and hit with Martin and he popped up. Tried hit and run with Orlando. Well, let's see. Runner goes again. Hit and run line drive down the right field line. Moss was overshifted. So Casey Blake is going to be waved in and he will score on a double by Hudson, and the Dodgers lead 5-2. So Orlando stuck on doubles. 2 doubles and a double play tonight to go 2 for 3. Dodgers now take a comfortable 5-2 lead. Jim Thome had made his way up to the plate, and now they're calling Jim back. And let's see. Joe Torre comes out of the dugout to say something to Thome and then keeps on going and wants to talk to C.B. Buckner, the plate umpire. Now Joe points. I think perhaps Torre wanted to make sure that Thome had not been officially in the game, and he will send Minkiewicz up instead. So Thome went out there in case Hudson could not advance Blake. And Casey very animated, laughing with Thome and Mark Loretta. But when Hudson knocked him home with a double, then they thought, okay, Minkiewicz will come up. So I'm pretty sure Minkiewicz is batting for Garland, not Thome. So we might see Jim later on. Now John Russell is going to make a move now that Minkiewicz is officially in. He'll go down to the left-hander, Dumitre, with the Dodgers leading 5-2, so they'll call Phil in, and we'll be back. Daniel. Hudson with 2 doubles tonight and 1 run batted in, also hit into a double play, so it's double trouble for him. The Dodgers meanwhile are going to change. Minkiewicz was officially announced, and Demetre coming out of the pen, and the left-hander will now face Mark Loretta. So we've actually seen 3 pinch hitters surface, and 2 of them count. Tome is still back in the dugout. So as Jim works on his gum, Loretta will work on his game. It's 5-2 Dodgers with Hudson at second base. Demetre from Bakersfield, went to Bakersfield College, was a #1 pick by the Red Sox. Never did make it with the Red Sox. Came close. He made it with the Reds. Close in color if nothing else. He's 6'2", a 200-pounder. And ball 1 to Mark Loretta. "28 years old. Demetre, the 3rd pitcher, and a fly ball to right. Moss is there. Hudson tags, and he's coming over, and the throw cut off by Cedeno. So Loretta, fly ball to right field, deep enough for Hudson to move over, and the batter will be Rafael Furcal. Demetre basically fastball, curve, change, and slider. The Reds sent Scott Williamson to the Red Sox, acquiring Demetre, and then the next year he came to Pittsburgh. Furcal turning around to bat right-handed. From this side of the plate, hitting .277. From the left side, .250. Tonight, 1 for 3. Lost an extra base hit on a wonderful running catch by Andrew McCutchen in dead center. McCutchen twisting and turning before spearing the ball. That's a strike. Demetre had Tommy John surgery 5 years ago. Battled his way back. He had bursitis in the rotator cuff, inflammation of the bursa sac. Then he had surgery to clean out the area. So he's paid a lot of price. 2-2 to count. So you can just imagine the talent he must have had to be a #1 pick by the Red Sox. And then all the various injuries slowed him back. Hudson at third, 2 out. Foul back. 91-mile-an-hour fastball. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. 1 run in. And the Dodgers leading 5-2. They led 1-0, 2-1, 4-2, and now 5-2. Demetre figures to go out for a hitter. We'll see in the 7th inning. 3-2. Meanwhile, John Garland, who really worked hard, has a shot at winning his 10th. 8 years. And ground ball to Cedeno. And he takes care of it. So the Dodgers settle for 1. Blake singled. Hudson doubled him in. Garland picks up his gear, and the Dodgers lead 5-2. ERA of 2.6. His strikeout to walk ratio is just about 3-1. And Hung Chi Kuo will be facing a pinch hitter coming out of the Pirate dugout, Steve Pearce. So we're in the seventh. 5 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Pirates. Steve Pearce followed by Andrew McCutchen and then Andy LaRoche. Steve Pearce is a Floridian from Lakeland, Florida. Went to school at the University of South Carolina and a number 8 round pick. He played football and baseball in high school. Then he went to Indian River Community College before going on to South Carolina. Twins wanted him, but he didn't sign with them and eventually went with the Bucks. A strike. Steve is 26 years old, 5'11", 200-pounder. He was the minor league player of the year for the Pirates 2 years ago. 0-2. Interesting, too, that after the 2007 season, Steve was selected to play for Team USA in the World Cup in November in Taiwan. And here he is facing Hung Chi Kuo. Still 0-2. Here's a very stocky 5'10", thereabouts, 210-pounder. Has kind of a violent swing, and he's in a hole 0-2. Ball 1. Two balls and 2 strikes. So Hung Chi Kuo, who throws hard, very aggressive, against a young hitter who's a very aggressive hitter. Two balls, 2 strikes. And popped up. Right side, it will be Orlando. So Pearce pops it up, 1 away, and Andrew McCutchen coming up. Well, the Giants have added yet another in the bottom of the 8th inning. Juan Uribe, who had a big day Sunday against the Dodgers. He had an RBI single. So the Giants with a commanding 5-1 lead, bottom of the 8th inning. Andrew McCutchen singled, walked, grounded out, 1 for 2. Made a couple of dazzling catches in center field. And that's ball 1. On deck, Andy LaRoche. Foul that away, 1-1. Make sure that mask is all right. You don't want that thing to give. McCutchen 5'11", about 175, but the hitters who watch him say he has very quick hands. He has 11 home runs. Ball 2, 2-1. Hung Chi Kuo trying to get some outs for John Garland. And that's ball 3. 3-1 to count. A lot of people look at Andrew McCutchen as a Marquis Grissom type player. 3-2 the count. both with the bat and the glove. There are a lot of people who think he'll have quite a collection of Gold Gloves before he's finished, and we've already seen him make a couple of wonderful catches on a ball hit by Ramirez and a ball hit by Furcal. Little pop foul. Loney coming over and catches it. Say, you know, you can catch all the action of the 2009 Major League Baseball postseason on Fox and TBS. The excitement begins October 7th with the Division Series on TBS. 2 down, and Andy LaRoche coming up. LaRoche walked, singled, and singled again. So Andy returns to his old haunts, bidding for a perfect night. Andy with the Dodgers last year, but he only had 50 some odd at bats. Line foul into the chairs. 2 years ago, Andy had 90 at bats, though he never had much of a chance. Moved on to Pittsburgh, where he has a chance to play every day. We talked about that 3-team deal that eventually brought Manny Ramirez here. 1-1 to Andy. High foul off third. That'll go well back out of play. Andy's another fellow who had an experience with Taiwan. That was 2 years ago. He led Team USA with 10 RBIs in the World Cup in Taiwan. One and two. Down he goes. So Hung Chi Kuo, a 1-2-3 7th inning. And at the end of 6 1/2, 5-2 Dodgers. And the crowd now will stand for God Bless America and then take me out to the ball game.
Members of the USC Band. Dodger fans, it's time for the California Lottery 7th inning.
with the AT Rapid Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered.
Bottom of the seventh inning, 5-2 Dodgers, and a big right-hander, Steven Jackson, gets a strike to Matt Kemp. Steven is 6'5", 220, out of Sumter, South Carolina. Went to Clemson and was originally drafted by the Diamondbacks 5 years ago. 0-2 the count to Matt, who walked, rounded out, singled, stole a base, and rode home on the home run by Andre Ethier. Steven Jackson, 27 years old. Ball 1-1-2. He was signed in the 10th round by the Diamondbacks. And then he went to the Yankees when the Yankees sent Randy Johnson to the Diamondbacks. So he was involved in a big deal. Then the Pirates claimed Jackson off waivers from the Yankees. Basically fastball, slider, splitter, and change. And that takes care of Matt Kemp. So one away, and Andre Ethier coming up. Andre Ethier on a 1-ball, no strike count, hit it out. And that broke the tie, made it 4-2 Dodgers. And then Hudson doubled home Blake to make it 5-2. So here are the home runs at Dodger Stadium, and Andre has 20 of them, with Beltry and Sheffield with 23. Interesting that Andre, 20 of his 29 here, all 12 for Loney on the road. Fouled away. One ball and one strike. For Steven Jackson, this is his debut year. Spent enough time in the minors. 2-1 the count. Jackson is 2-3 in his 30th game. He has walked more than he has struck out, and of course that's a sour note for any pitcher. High fly ball, but this one's playable, catchable, and Andrew McCutchen does just that. 2 out in the 7th, and the battle will be Manny Ramirez. Well, the Rockies have crumbled as far as one game is concerned. The Giants have really done a number on them. Eugenio Velez tripled in 3, and the Giants are now leading the Rockies 9-1, bottom of the 8th inning. Remember that song from Our Love Is Here to Stay. The Rockies will crumble, well, at least for tonight, after having lost 2 out of 3 in San Diego. Boy, is that thing up, but not far, and it'll be whom? It'll be the center fielder. So McCutchen with Millett standing alongside of him. And at the end of 7, Dodgers 5, Pirates 2. Of the Dodgers as we go to the 8th inning. For the Dodgers, John Garland went 6 in a lot of trouble, but fought his way out of the corners, made 112 pitches. Then Hung-Chi Kuo came in, worked the 7th inning and made 16 pitches, and George Sherrill is now asked to pitch the 8th inning. So the left-hander will be facing Garrett Jones, then Ryan Dummett and Lasting Millage. As we go to the 8th inning. For the Dodgers, it looks like a win tonight would push Colorado back. Colorado's being pounded up at AT&T Park. They will have lost 6 of 7 at AT&T, where at home the Rockies beat the Giants 6 out of 9. So for the Dodgers, beginning the night, 3 in front of Colorado, 7.5 in front of the Giants. And as far as the Giants are concerned, fighting for the wild card, and they would be trailing Colorado by 3.5 if they win that game, and they certainly figure to, leading 9-1. All right, here's Garrett Jones, 0-1. Young first baseman grounded out, struck out, and doubled the left. "19 home runs, 39 runs batted in." One and one. Great names out of the past that wore Pirate uniforms. Jones has 19 home runs so far as a rookie. Johnny Rizzo had 23 for the Bucks. Heck, that's 60 years ago. Ralph Kiner, 1946, had 23 home runs as a rookie. And Jason Bay, 5 years ago, had 26. Kiner's home runs, most of them were really remarkable. You know how Manny Ramirez hits the ball so high in the air, even when he pops up? Well, when Ralph Kiner hit most of his home runs that I ever saw, they were a mile high. He would hit them so high, you would not believe that they would go out. But out they would go. And then later on at spacious Forbes Field, when Ralph Kiner played on the same team as Hank Greenberg, they had what they called Greenberg Gardens in left field. It was so big and spacious that they built a hurricane fence, and if you hit the ball over the hurricane fence, that was Greenberg's garden. Of course, Forbes Field, where the Pirates played for so many years, it was so deep in center, I believe 457. They used to put the batting cage in center field because it never gotten away. 3-2 the count to Garrett Jones. So George Sherrill, who has done such a good job for the Dodgers. Sherrill, no record, an ERA of less than half a run. See you later. So Jones is caught looking for the second time tonight. And the batter will be Ryan Dummett. A deer in the headlights. Jones just could not swing. Sherrill has 14 strikeouts and 9 walks. Dummett, the catcher's walk, lined into a double play, hits a fly ball to Manny Ramirez, and he'll go 0 for 3. And the batter will be Lasting Millage. A Pirate loss would give them 87 losses with 20 left. So if they lose 13 of the 20, they will have lost 100 games. For a sorry franchise, and I use the word advisedly, it is really sorry that a franchise has gone down the drain as it has in Pittsburgh. Pirate fans, loyal, showed up, bit the bullet. Now they've decided to make the effort by coming up with young players and hoping they'll come up with the answer. So kids like McCutcheon, Jones, Millage, hoping to lead them back. 1 ball, 1 strike. How are they doing with the fans? They're averaging 19,000 a game. And they've drawn 1,000,003. Dodgers will go to Pittsburgh on the weekend of the 25th. Dodgers actually will have a 4-game series. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday in Pittsburgh, which, if we understand correctly, will also be the site of the big G20 meeting. 1-2 to Millage, popped up, fly to center, fly to right. Still 2-2. Bucks had the bases loaded with 1 out in the first inning. And Millage popped up against Garland, and Brandon Ross struck out. 5-2 Dodgers in the 8th. Ground ball to Hudson. So 1-2-3 inning in the 8th, and the last 8 Pirates have walked the plank. And at the end of 7.5, 5-2 Dodgers. Two, and another pitcher coming in for Pittsburgh, and it will be Denny Bautista, who is the 5th pitcher used by skipper John Russell. Denny's from Sanchez in the Dominican Republic, lives now in Santo Domingo, and 10 years ago he was selected by the Florida Marlins as a free agent. He's bounced around a lot, but he did come up to the big leagues with the Royals 4 years ago. Then he had 2 years with the Rockies. He also had a year with the Tigers, and this would be about a year and a half with Pittsburgh. He is a distant cousin of Ramon and Pedro Martinez. We'll check his numbers. Is he wearing? No. He used to wear 45 in Pedro's honor, and he comes into the game now with the numbers reversed, wearing 54. Jose Ascanio has been wearing number 45. So anyway, Denny, long and lean, 6'5", maybe 190. And a strike to James Loney. Loney tonight popped to short, walked, scored a run, and flied to left. 0-1. Fastball strike, 0-2. Well, Denny pitching out of the stretch all the time. He works out with Pedro Martinez, and Pedro thinks he's going to be special. Well, it hadn't quite happened yet. 0-2. Ball one. Denny Bautista began his career in 2000. And at the time in the Gulf Coast League, people said he reminded them of Pedro. The only difference is Pedro's about 5'11" maybe, and Denny is 6'5". 1-2. I think James went after a bad ball. He was lucky he got a little bit of that thing. One and two the count to James Loney. Pulled foul. Still 1-2. They tell a story. In fact, Denny Martinez tells it on himself. Years ago, he and Pedro Martinez were spending a day at the beach when Bautista's cell phone rang, but he wasn't around. So Pedro answered it, and it was Bautista's ex-girlfriend. Fouled at the plate. Anyway, Pedro talked to the ex-girlfriend and invited her, unbeknownst to Bautista, to join them at the beach. Well, there's only one big problem. Bautista's new girlfriend was at the beach with them. Oh, great. So the former girlfriend arrived, started to cry, said, Denny, and they said, well, what did you do? He said, I left. He left the beach. And he was furious at Pedro Martinez for a while. And then he got over it and laughs about it now. Denny Bautista. A couple of years ago, he had a knuckle curve, and it was causing him arm problems. One and two. His control improved after he began exclusively to pitch out of the stretch. Hard ground ball, base hit by the diving LaRose. So James Loney, who can go the other way with the best of them, singles to left. Everybody in the Dodger lineup now, with the exception of the pitcher spot, has at least one hit. Dodgers 5 runs, 10 hits. Pirates 2 runs, 6 hits. Hudson and Blake have each picked up 2 hits. Blake 2 singles, Hudson 2 doubles. So hit number 1 against Bautista. That's ball 1. 8th inning, Dodgers have a man aboard. Dodgers lead 5-2. It is all over up north. It was really all over probably by the 3rd inning. But anyway, the Giants beat the Rockies 9-1 behind Tim Lincecum. And that's going to be a wild pitch, and it goes all the way over to the box seats. So Loney just keeps on running, and he's out at third. And Boa and Loney can't believe it, but Brian Gorman has called him out. Here comes Joe to appeal. They got much of a chance appealing after the call. So Loney goes to second on the wild pitch, and then he's caught at third. Take another look. And of course, remember, for Brian Gorman, he can't take another look. So Loney tries to go to third. Here's the throw. From that side, you can't tell. This is a better side. And he is left hand, looks like it's on the bag, and then the glove got him on the shoulder. So, you know, with all the high powered technical stuff, you might be able to say Loney was safe, but just pity the poor umpire. He's got a bang bang play, and that's all he has. So 1 out. Fouled away. Good hustle and recovery by Ryan Duman, and his throw to Angela Rose. Again, arms separated, tagged right between the arms, but the left hand appears to be on the bag. Face was up, and that's where the tag was. But you know what? The world will little note nor long remember what just happened at third base. Oh, the players might mutter about it, but leading 5-2 in the 8th won't last long. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Casey Blake. 2 for 2, hit by a pitch. Big chopper right on the line, and watch the call. Foul now. 2-2. Casey hitting .281. 17 home runs, 73 runs batted in. Tomorrow night, Zach Duke and Randy Wolf. Zach Duke 10-14 with an earned run average of 4. And the big thing about Randy, of course, is to test the arm. He's 10-6. 2-2. Ball 3. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Jonathan Broxton's been warming up. George Sherrill made 14 pitches to retire the side in order in the 8th. 3-2. On deck, Russell Martin. And ball 4. So Blake at first with 1 out, and Martin coming up.
Catcher number 55, Russell Martin.
Russell Martin popped to short, single to center, and popped to second. So Martin 1 for 3, hitting .259. And a strike. Fastball at 90. Denny Bautista has certainly had his share of miseries. He had a tender shoulder about 7 years ago. 6 years ago, a strained left oblique. 5 years ago, had pain in his side. They thought it was kidney stones. 4 years ago, tendonitis in the right shoulder. 3 years ago, a tear in his right pectoral muscle. And then for good measure, last year, he was on the DL with a sore shoulder. Last year, not too effective. Left-handers hit .279. Right-handers hit .275 against him. 0-2. Ball 1. Like so many young players from the Dominican, they fudge on their years. 2004, Bautista applied for a work visa while in the Dominican, and it came out that he was born August 23, 1980, instead of October 23, 1982, as he had been listed when he was with the Marlins. 2-2. center. There's nobody there, and that thing's going to be off the wall. Blake will stop at third on the double by Martin. So the fact that Loney was erased cost the Dodger a run. They have second and third, and Orlando Hudson coming up. Russell Martin got a ball up, and he knew what to do with it as he broke right to the heart of the strike zone, and he short hops the wall in left center. So Martin is 2 for 4. Martin with his 18th double. Joe Torre was talking about Martin coming off a good series in San Francisco, and he said one thing that's happening, he's becoming patient with his at-bats. He's laying off pitches that he was having trouble with, making outs early in the count. Though he just doubled the at-bat before, he went 3-2 before popping up. 1 ball and no strikes to Hudson. Out on deck, Jim Thome, and we might finally see him, maybe. Infield out. And a strike, 1-1. So Thome on deck to hit for Sherrill. He was out there in the 7th inning. Then they called him back. That's when Joe went out and made sure with C.B. Buckner that he was not officially in the game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Check swing. They're going to look at third. No swing, says Brian Gorman. 2-1 the count to Orlando Hudson. Infield up with 1 out. 2-1 pitch. Fastball slapped upstairs. 2-2. Hudson hitting .288. Orlando with 9 home runs, 59 runs batted in. As a left-hand batter hitting .277, hitting about .315 right-handed. 9 home runs, 6 of them hit left-handed. Outfield shading him to left. And that's where he goes. So on that base hit, Blake will score. Stopping is Martin. The Dodgers lead 6-2. And Orlando Hudson has 2 doubles and a single. That's the way they played him, and that's the way he hit it. So Orlando Hudson 3 hits as he knocks in Casey Blake. Tough inning for Denny Bautista. He's given up 2 singles, a double, and a walk. The only out recorded at third, and Chris Butchek will be coming in. And we'll pause for this. against a right-hander, Chris Butchek. Chris was a first-round pick by the Angels out of Auburn University 9 years ago. He made it briefly with the Angels in 03, and again very briefly in 05, then again briefly in 06, and I'm talking about 7 games, 5 games, 4 games. Then in 07, he was in 51 games, and last year only 10 games with the Angels. Nothing seemed to click. So now here he is with the Pirates. 6'5", 200-pounder. He is only 21 years old. In fact, add 10. He's 31 years old. So Butchek working on Tomei. 0-1 to Jim. 1 for 3. Overall, counting the White Sox, 23 home runs, 74 runs batted in. Slap foul, so he's in a hole. 0-2. Chris Butchek at 6'5", another tall pitcher coming out of the pen. Oh, 0-2 to Tomei. Check swing. They're going to look. No swing, says Brian Gorman. 1-2 the count to Jim Tomei. His biggest year in home runs, because you always think of that. 2002, he had 52 home runs. The year before, he had 124 runs batted in. 2-2. So Butchek at 31, facing Tomei, who is 39. Russell Martin standing at third. Orlando Hudson at first. 2-2. And popped in the air foul. That should go out of play, and does. The paid attendance tonight, many of whom have called it a night. The paid attendance 42,045. 42,045. Dodgers led 1-0, then it was tied. Dodgers led 2-1, then it was tied. Then the Dodgers led 4-2, 5-2, 6-2. And trying to add to that. Got him. So Tomei strikes out. Of course, you get awfully rusty hanging around. The toughest job coming in to get a couple of swings. So the Dodgers used Minkiewicz, who was officially announced, then Loretta, who batted for Minkiewicz and flied out. Now Tomei. And the batter will be Rafael Furcal. Single, stole a base, scored a run in the first inning. Since then, grounded out twice and a long out to center. Andrew McCutchen made a fine catch. Ball 1. Christopher Butchek working on Furcal. One and 0. 1-1. Good fastball. He has a curve, changeup, cutter. He also worked on a splitter. Last year, he had a strained right forearm. 1-1. Ball 2. Butchek's had problems, shoulder tendonitis, then tendonitis in the forearm, hamstring, all kinds of problems. There goes Hudson, fouled away. Upstairs, and the count 2-2. Orlando going back to first. Every time you see a first-round pick who has never developed, if you dig deep enough, you usually find a long history of physical problems. He had to be something when the Angels signed him in September 9 years ago. Little pop fly. Who will it be? It will be Cedeno. So the Dodgers struggle and bring forth one, and at the end of 8, lead 6-2. Enter Jonathan Broxton. Jonathan Broxton comes in with Black Sabbath singing in the background. And for Broxton, he'll be facing Brandon Moss and Ronnie Cedeno and Ramon Vasquez. Big John, 7-1, an ERA of 2.5, and strikeout to walks 4-1. Jonathan getting ready to hold on to what is a 6-2 lead. The Dodgers 6 runs on 12 hits and no errors. Should the Dodgers win, they will lead Colorado by 4. The Giants will remain 7.5 back of the Dodgers, but 3.5 back of Colorado with 2 more games on. Then they come here, do the Giants. Dodgers trying to make it going back to last year. 6 out of 8 and 8 out of 10 against the Pirates. So here's Brandon Moss, struck out twice, grounded out, 0 for 3. Hitting .242, ball 1. Tomorrow night, the Pirates will send Zach Duke, the pride of Waco, Texas. Zach will be going up against Randy Wolf. 1 ball and no strikes. Fouled away. Moss has 7 home runs, 34 runs batted in. Pirates have won 55 games. They're on the edge of losing 87. One and two. Dodgers scored a run in the first. The Bucks tied it with a run in the fourth. Dodgers untied it in the bottom of the fourth. Then the Bucks came back in the top of the fifth to tie it up. Then Andre Ethier hit a 2-run home run, and the Dodgers added another in the sixth, another in the eighth, and they lead 6-2. Foul back. So Brandon Moss trying to stay alive up there at the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Moss was an 8th round pick by the Red Sox. out of Loganville High School in Monroe, Georgia. He thought for a while that maybe he'd be a pitcher. 1-2. Down he goes. So Moss has a tough night. Not only goes 0 for 4, he strikes out 3 of the 4 times. Hard slider puts him away. And the batter now will be Ronnie Cedeno. Cedeno grounded to third. Outlegged an infield single and scored on a double by Ramon Vasquez. Lined out to second and was in the middle of a great relay back in the first inning. Fastball. In the first inning, Ramirez doubled with 2 on. Furcal scored. Matt Kemp trying to score from first. And Lasting's Millage got the ball to Cedeno, who threw a perfect throw to Ryan Dumit, who made an outstanding tag to get Kemp. 0-2 to count. Ronnie hitting .293, 5 home runs, 18 runs batted in. Cedeno coming over from the American League. No balls, 2 strikes. Foul back. Cedeno, 26, from Venezuela. Came up to the Cubs back in 2005 and basically stayed with them for 4 years. Early this year he was with the Mariners and now with the Pirates. 0-2. Big bouncer to Blake. So 1 out to go. And the batter will be Ramon Vasquez.
Second baseman, Ramon Vasquez.
The last 13 in a row have been retired by Dodger pitching. The last base hit for the Pirates was a double by Garrett Jones to left field in the 5th inning. Their offense has not been heard from since. Vasquez 1 for 3, a double to drive in a run. So the Dodgers trying to add another victory in their column against Pittsburgh. Fouled away. Since 2001, the Dodgers are 43-15 against Pittsburgh. They will have beaten them 6 of the last 8 and 8 of the last 10 going back to last year. Dodgers have won the season series from the Pirates 8 straight years. Of course, this is only game 1. Ground ball to Orlando, and that ought to do it. So the Dodgers win 6 runs, 12 hits, no errors. Andre Ethier, a big 2-run home run in the 5th inning. For the Pirates, 2 runs, 6 hits, and no errors. The winning